How to Play Big Chicken by James Likes Games. This video will teach you how to play the game and cover most of the rules. However, for a more detailed look at the rules, as well as examples of various game scenarios and situations, visit bigchickengame.com. There you can also download printable score sheets, access variant rule sets, and find out how to get your own copy of the game. Big Chicken is a dynamic and fiercely competitive card game designed for 3 to 6 players that requires an adaptive strategy as the game unfolds. While luck determines the cards you receive, victory hinges on cunning and planning. Get ready for intense gameplay, spirited banter, and a lot of fun. Let's get started. You build a chicken coop in your backyard, but then you found out you weren't zoned for it. So you've got to tear it down and get rid of the chickens and eggs as fast as you can before you start to get fined. You've also got wild ducks wandering into your backyard, and you need to get rid of them too. The object of the game is to have the lowest score when the game ends. Big Chicken is a card shedding game. The object of each round is to be the first player to get rid of all of their cards, which is called going out. All the other players take points for the number of cards left in their hand after the first player goes out, ending the round. The values of those cards don't matter. Within each round, there are several runs. The object of each run is to play a higher card or higher combination of cards, called lays, that match the type of lay already played until a lay can't be beaten. And then that player takes control and starts a new run with whatever type of lay they want. When you play cards from your hand onto the table, those are called lays, as in laying down cards or laying eggs. Get it? Whatever type of lay is played, it must be followed by the same type of lay of a higher value. Lays consist of a single card or combination of cards and are one of 5 types. Single card lays, any single card in the deck. Two of a kind, any 2 cards of the same number, also called a pair. The suit doesn't matter. Of a kind means the same number. 3 of a kind, any 3 cards of the same number. Again, the suit doesn't matter. 5 card poker lays. Combinations of cards making up the 4 common 5-card poker hands: straight, flush, full house, and straight flush. Those familiar with poker need to note that these are the only valid 5-card poker lays in the game, and that 2 pair is not accepted as a lay. And finally, our last type of lay is called a coop. Coops are any 4 of a kind or 5 of a kind, also known as a little coop or a big coop. Coops are a special kind of lay because they're so hard to make. They are the only type of lay that has the ability to be played on top of other different types of lays. But we'll get more into that later. Remember, other than coops, whatever lay is led in a run must be followed by the same type of lay of a higher value. So if a 2 of a kind is played, then the next lay must also be a 2 of a kind. A 2 of a kind cannot be beaten by a 3 of a kind or a poker lay because you can only follow a lay with the same type of lay. For those not familiar with poker, here is the order and description of the 4 poker lays from lowest to highest. Straight, 5 number cards in consecutive order. The suit doesn't matter. Flush, 5 number cards of the same suit. The numbers don't matter. Full house, 1 2 of a kind and 1 3 of a kind. The suits don't matter. Straight flush, 5 cards in consecutive order and all of the same suit. The straight flush is the highest of the poker lays. When determining the value of straights and flushes, it is the number and then the suit of the highest card in the lay that determines which is a higher lay between 2 straights or between 2 flushes. The straight ending in the orange 5 beats the straight ending in the green 5. The flush ending in the green 10 beats the flush ending in the orange 9. However, the flush ending in the orange 10 beats the flush ending in the green 10. The straight flush ending in the blue 9 beats the straight flush ending in the yellow 8. In poker, the 3 of a kind initially determines the value of a full house, not the pair, when compared to other 3 of a kinds. If the 3 of a kinds are made up of the same numbers, then the suits determine the value. If both suits and numbers match, only then is the pair considered for establishing the winner. The deck consists of 4 suits of number cards, or egg cards, numbered from 1 to 10. There are 2 copies of every egg card, so that means there are 2 green 1s and there are 2 yellow 6s. The deck also contains 5 chickens of different suits and 3 purple ducks. The chickens and ducks are collectively known as the foul cards. There is also a reference card that has an abridged version of the rules, and a direction of play card that helps the players keep track of the current direction of play, clockwise or counterclockwise. The suits, or colors, are ordered like the colors of the rainbow, from blue as the lowest to orange as the highest. There's also one red card in the deck, and he is the highest single card and highest chicken. Ducks are purple, but they have a special power, so they're not really the lowest, but they help to complete our rainbow. If you forget the order of suits, a rainbow of eggs is on each card, increasing in size as the suits get higher. Note, numbers supersede suits for determining the value of a lay. The deck is set up differently based on the number of players, in order to balance the play experience, no matter how many are playing, from 3 to 6 players. For 3 and 4 player games, we use 3 suits, and for 5 and 6 player games, we use all 4 suits of egg cards. Use the deck setup guide in the rules or print it on the score sheet for instructions on how to set up the deck for various player counts. It shows which cards will be used and which will be left out. Note, if you're regularly playing 3 to 4 player games, and thus only using 3 suits, it's advisable that every few games you rotate through the suits that you use so that all the cards in your deck get even wear. Once you've set up the deck, pick a player to shuffle and deal the cards. All the cards in the prepared deck are dealt out every round, 16 cards to each player in a 3, 4, and 5 player game, and 14 cards in a 6 player game. One of the advantages of Big Chicken over other games is that there is no dummy hand, or kitty, or widow, so all the cards used in a given game are known, and a player can plan their strategies based on which cards have already been played and which haven't. There are 5 chickens in the deck, 1 of each suit, starting with the lowest blue chicken and increasing in value to the green big chicken, then the yellow bigger chicken, and then the orange even bigger chicken, and finally the biggest chicken, big red. Chickens are the highest single cards in the game, and when used as a pair, they're the highest pair, and as a 3 of a kind, they're the highest 3 of a kind. Chickens can also be used as a pair or a 3 of a kind in a full house. You could also use chickens in a coop, but that would likely be a waste of chickens. Chickens do have limitations. Think of chickens like face cards. They don't have a numerical value, they are not wild, and they can't represent any numbered egg cards. Therefore, they can't be used in a straight or a flush, or mixed with egg cards in a pair or 3 of a kind. Big Red is a rooster with attitude, and it's well deserved. He's not just another chicken. He's the highest, most powerful chicken when used as a single card, and the most powerful card in the deck because of a special ability we'll get into in a sec. But he's still a chicken and can be used just like all the other chickens, in a 2 or a 3 of a kind, as well as a full house, and in coops. He's also subject to the same restrictions as all chickens. He's not wild, and he can't be used in straights or flushes. In addition to being the highest chicken, he is the only single card that can beat a coop. And he cannot be beaten by a coop, but he only beats a coop when played as a single card. He doesn't beat a coop if he's part of another set, as in a pair of chickens, 3 chickens, or as a part of a full house. If you notice, Big Red is the only rooster in the deck, and the rest of the chickens are hens. Big Red is a tough guy when he's by himself, but he becomes shy around the ladies. So, by himself, he beats and cannot be beaten by a coop, but if he's with any other chickens, he loses that power. Ducks are dizzy loners that have wandered into your yard, and you've got to get rid of them too. And because they're loners, only one can be played in a lay at a time. Ducks want to hang out with the chickens, but the chickens hate the ducks, so the ducks can't be played with the chickens in the same lay. Also, ducks can't be used in coops. The chickens wouldn't stand for it. So instead, the ducks decide to hang out with the eggs, and being unhatched, the eggs have no say in the matter. The ducks want so bad to be a chicken one day that they even try to impersonate eggs. That means a duck can be used as any egg card. When playing a duck, the player must declare the value of the duck card. A duck can be any number and any suit used in the current deck, even if those cards have already been played. Ducks can be used to complete a pair, a 3 of a kind, and any 5-card poker lay. But remember, ducks can't be used in a coop. The chickens won't allow it. If you forget the powers and limitations of foul cards, you can look at the reference card for a reminder. Flip. Because ducks are dizzy, they cause the direction of play to reverse when they're played. This is called flipping. When a duck is laid, the player must also flip over the direction of play card to keep track of the current direction. Coops are any 4 of a kind or 5 of a kind, also known as a little coop or a big coop. A coop is the most powerful lay because it is the only exception to the rule requiring you to follow any lay with the same type of lay. You can play a coop on top of any other type of lay, and it can only be beaten by a higher value coop or Big Red. The advantage of playing a coop and not having it beaten is that a player can take control of the round and then start a new run, and lead with any type of lay, thus enabling them to better get rid of the cards in their hand. Coops can even consist of 4 or 5 chickens, but it's unlikely that a player would want to use their chickens all at once and would probably be better off holding onto them to play them more strategically. Also remember, ducks cannot be used in coops. The chickens wouldn't allow that, and it would make it too easy to make coops. Flip or skip. When a player lays a coop, they must choose whether the direction of play is reversed or whether the next player is passed over. Do they flip or do they skip? If they decide to flip, the player must flip over the direction of play card to keep track of the current direction. We'll play a sample round to show some examples of the rules we've covered and to explain some rules we've not yet touched on. For our example here, we're setting the deck up for 4 players, so we need to use 3 suits. You can use any 3 of the 4 suits, and in this case we'll use orange, yellow, and blue. We include all number cards of those suits and remove the 4 lowest cards in the deck, in this case the 2 blue ones and the 2 yellow ones. We always use all 5 chickens, and in this case all 3 ducks. Once all the cards have been dealt out, the player who has big red shows it to everyone and is determined to be the starting player. Even though the starting player has the highest card in the deck, its utility is diminished because everyone knows that they have that card and therefore they can strategize against it. Also, big red can't be played because the eggs have not been broken yet. A player cannot lead, that is, start a run's play, with a foul card or a lay that contains a foul card until a foul card has been played in that round. This is called breaking the eggs. This is like breaking trump in other games. We always start the game going clockwise. Player 1 plays a single card lay, a yellow 3. Player 2 beats that with a higher 3, an orange 3, as orange is a higher suit than yellow. Player 3 beats it with a blue 4, because numbers always have precedence over suits. Player 4 plays a higher 4, because orange is a higher suit. Player 1 beats that with a yellow 7, a lower suit but a higher number. Player 2 plays an orange 9, a higher suit and a higher number. Player 3 throws out a duck and declares that it is an orange 10, the highest possible number card in this deck. Because it's a duck, the direction must reverse, and the direction of play card is flipped to counterclockwise. Also, player 3 has broken the eggs, so in future runs, a player can lead with foul cards until the round is over. Player 2 plays a green chicken. Player 1 says cluck to pass. In Big Chicken, passing is known as clucking. Playing is optional, and a player may choose to cluck even if they have cards they could play. If clucking, a player may play later if given an opportunity to play. Then player 4 clucks. Player 3 also clucks. When every player consecutively clucks so that a player would have to play on their own card, that player has won the run. Since no one has beaten his chicken, player 2 wins this run. The cards are swept, and player 2 leads the next run. Run 2 continues counterclockwise. Player 2 leads with a 3 of a kind of 5s. Player 1 follows that with triple 6s, also known as deviled eggs. Player 4 beats that with bigger trip 6s. If a lay is played with the same numbers, in this case 2 3 of a kinds of 6s, then the suit order takes precedence. The orange 6s cancel each other out, and the pair of yellow 6s beats the pair of blue 6s. Player 3 plays a little coop of 2s. Because it's a coop, player 3 has the choice to flip the direction of play or skip the next player in the current direction. They choose to flip the direction of play back to clockwise. Player 4 plays a higher coop of 7s. They also choose to flip the direction of play, so now it's counterclockwise. But as you'll find out in a moment, that was a mistake. Player 3 clucks. Player 2 also clucks. Player 1 plays Big Red, which, when played by itself, beats a coop. Player 1 wins since nothing can beat Big Red. However, player 4 should not have flipped, and instead should have skipped player 1, since they already knew that player 1 had Big Red. Had they skipped them, the rest of the table probably would have still clucked, and the play would have come back around to player 4, and they would have won the run, without player 1 having a chance to play Big Red. Run 3 continues counterclockwise. Player 1 leads with a pair consisting of a yellow 5 and a duck, and declares the duck to be an orange 5. Because a duck has been played, the direction of play must be flipped back to clockwise. Player 2 clucks. Player 3 follows with a pair of 10s. Player 4 clucks. Player 1 plays higher dub 10s. Player 2 clucks. Player 3 also clucks. And player 4 clucks. Since no one has beaten their 10s, player 1 wins. Run 4 continues clockwise. Player 1 leads with a straight, ends up with one card, and successfully declares last egg. If a player has one card left after their lay, they must say, last egg. If they forget to do so, another player can catch them and say last egg first. The other player cannot catch them until they have taken their hand off the card or set of cards that they are laying. If a player is caught, then all discards must be shuffled together, and the caught player will be dealt 2 cards from the discards. If a player is able to go out without having to state last egg because their final lay of the round was not a single card, all other players get 5 extra points added to their score. This is called egging. Okay, back to run 4. To beat player 1 straight, player 2 plays an orange flush, including a duck standing in for an orange 10. Because of the duck, the direction of play is flipped to counterclockwise. Player 1 doesn't have enough cards, so they cluck. Player 4 plays a full house, 9s over 10s. Player 3 wants to play a full house next, 8s over chickens, but can't since the 3 8s won't beat the 3 9s, and thus the pair of chickens don't matter. So, player 3 clucks. Player 2 clucks. Player 1 also clucks. Since nothing has beaten their full house, player 4 wins. Play continues counterclockwise. Player 4 leads with a pair of 3s, but gets caught because they have 1 card left and they forget to declare last egg. The discards are shuffled and they draw 2 cards. Player 3 throws down a pair of chickens, which beat all pairs of egg cards, since chickens are higher than numbers. Player 2 clucks. Player 1 clucks. Player 4 clucks. Since no one can beat their pair of chickens, player 3 wins. The 6th and final run continues counterclockwise. Player 3 leads with a yellow 3. Player 2 lays a yellow 4. Player 1 plays a blue 5 and goes out, winning the round. If the winner of a round won by playing a single card as their last lay, then the player directly before them, in this case player 2, flips their cards face up. Because player 2 didn't play the highest single card they had, or a coup, then they are deemed to have assisted the winner. Their penalty for assistance is the addition of the total card points after multipliers that all the other losers have incurred on top of their own points. The scoring for this round would look like this. Player 1 would get 0 points for winning. Player 4 would get 3 points for being stuck with 3 cards. Player 3 would get 10 points for still having 5 cards in their hand because of the 2 times multiplier on the score sheet. And player 2 would get 4 points for the 4 cards in their hand plus a total of 13 points from the other 2 players. The good egg is the player who won the round, and the bad egg is the player who earned the most points for that round, including points for the cards they were still holding and any additional penalties. If there is a tie, the bad egg is the player with the overall highest score thus far in the game. If there's still a tie, shuffle all cards in the deck, and the player who draws the lowest card is the bad egg. If there are additional questions about tiebreakers, please check the rules for answers. For the next round, the bad egg's punishment is that they must shuffle and deal the cards. Because the game strives for a balance of power, the good egg must give their highest card to the bad egg, and do so openly, showing it to all players. However, the good egg does not have to give away Big Red, nor do they acknowledge that they have it. In fact, no one has to show Big Red if they have it. It was only used like that to determine the starting player of the first round. The bad egg may give back any card they want, including the one they just received, and they must do so openly by showing it to all players. While the bad egg has the advantage of the good egg's best card, since all other players are aware of which cards were traded, the players can strategize against those cards. The good egg does get the significant advantage of leading the next round, unless another player crows. If a player crows, they are stating that they will win that round. Any player, except the good egg, may crow. Successful crowing penalizes all other players with 15 extra points at the end of the round. Failing to win after crowing is called eating crow, and that adds an extra 20 points onto the score of the player who crowed. Because it defines the basis for all gameplay, the most important rule of the game is this: whatever type of lay is led or played must be followed by the same type of lay. The game ends when the point limit or round limit is reached. See the scorecard for the limits for each player count variation. The player with the lowest score is the winner and called the golden egg, and the player with the highest score is called the rotten egg. If you have additional questions or need clarifications on the rules, visit our website, bigchickengame.com. And please subscribe to our mailing list so we can send you updates if the game's rules have been amended or updated or new game variations have been released. Thank you for learning how to play Big Chicken. We hope you enjoy the game as much as we do.